Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Tim, Braden, Second Legacy, You Are Amazing, the place where we mix sarcasm and humor with two-way goodness every single day for your enjoyment. So if you guys are enjoying this content, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, because today we've got to talk about a perfect case in point of why you might want to carry a gun. Just saying. Tim, we're going to take a trip to California. California, eh? Mamas and the papas.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather.
I mean, you know what's
control.
crazy? Yeah, you got gun control, one of the nation's lowest crime rate, lowest drug usage, lowest levels of homelessness. I mean, it's just
there's no immigration either.
It's a Soviet utopia over there, and it's a model by
glorious.
which they want to model DC after. It's paradise. Absolutely,
It is. It's some could say a gangster's paradise. See what I did there? Did you see it? Oh, you guys weren't ready for that. Well, Tim, you know, you and I have often been proclaiming the abilities of one's self to defend themselves.
Yeah, sure.
You know, be able to defend yourself.
Come on,
That's a
spit it
good
out,
idea.
Kamala.
Hey, whoa. Those two statements should not be in the same sentence.
I like
All right.
guns now.
You were too busy
She's
whining.
adopting every one of Trump's policies. I like guns. I want to repeal the NFA. No tax on tips. It's like
I want to build a wall. I want to do all the things.
Like,
Well, you know what she's
rude.
not down for.
all right. What?
All right. I know. Kamala's a thing for you. I get it. We're gonna get through this though. She does not like it when citizens take self-defense into their own hands. Does she, Tim? No.
She just doesn't like citizens.
She doesn't like citizens. That's a good point.
She prefers subjects. Yeah.
That's very, very good. Well, this one subject wasn't having it. How's that for a segue? All right. Listen, this is number one. This is what happened. I got some videos. I got some clips. I got all sorts of stuff for us. Liquor store worker pulls gun on mob of bicyclists surrounding California store after they attack him. Well, how's that for a painted picture? You know,
It's surprisingly neutral.
it's surprisingly new. You know, it's a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. Okay. All right.
But I mean, they could have been a little bit more descriptive. White racist pulls gun.
Well, that would have been. I mean, it's touchy right now, Tim. It's an election year, so you gotta really be touchy.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're only in month one of Kamala's election campaign. You know, so we got to make sure we're really, really sensitive. And Dr. Slides, you can throw up all those still images we have while we're talking through this, just to show you what we're talking about. But
there he is.
guys,
Bigot.
oh, look at that guy. Look at him. Oh my gosh.
How dare he defend himself from an angry
That's
mob?
terrible.
Yeah.
An angry mob. So the backstory here is a vast mob of teenagers on bicycles because they couldn't drive. Went to a local store and they were robbing the store in one of those flash mob steal things that have been so popular. You know.
Yeah.
And this worker was like, "No, I'm just gonna stand here in the way." And so they started assaulting him. Well, knock knock, Tim. They didn't count on him having a firearm,
Which is surprising. It is Oakland. I'm surprised.
It is Oakland, right?
I'm surprised it wasn't a gunfight. I mean, whatever. I'm glad it played
true,
out
but it wasn't.
peacefully.
Thank goodness it wasn't. All right, so here's some of the backstory. This is number two. A laughing horde of bicyclists, at least they were joyous. You know how joy, Tim. Attacked a California liquor store worker before screaming as the worker pulled a gun on his attackers and fleeing during the chaotic scene caught on video. The unidentified employee was standing outside Golden Hour's Liquor on International Boulevard in Oakland on Saturday when he was confronted by over 24 bicyclists who had surrounded the area outside the store. The workers attempt to get in the face of one of the bikers, who is punching his fist against the other hand in a taunting manner. So basically, a lot of posturing, right? Well, these kids, this is number three, the bikers' attack quickly turned the area outside the store into a madhouse as dozens of people jump the worker, landing punches and slaps on the target. And I've got the video for us in a second. Get him, multiple people shouted. Several of the laughing bikers land punches on the worker's head and torso as they back him into the store's interest. So this is now gone from theft, a flash mob of a riot, into physical assault on one person. All right, guys, this is why you have your concealed carry and you protect yourself, because this is now commonplace in big cities. This is not random anymore. This is now, what are we going to do today? You get your bicycle and you go jump somebody.
Yeah. The flash mob thing in major cities is an ongoing, persistent problem.
100%.
You know, so we see it in Chicago, and basically all it is somebody gets a wild idea. Hey, let's go target this store. They post on social media somewhere, and they generate a large group of people. They all show up, create absolute chaos. They're in and out very quickly. generally they can avoid, police involvement. That's the whole goal,
Correct.
I think. Steal something, break something, and have fun at somebody else's expense, and then dissipate as quickly as you showed up.
Yeah, it's a human DDoS attack, a denial of service attack. Right. That's exactly what it is.
So they think it's fun.
They think it's fun and they get away with it and there's no consequences, except when you run into someone who can defend himself. So this is number 8. I'm going to show you both these videos and then show you the outcome here, Tim, because I know you're going to love the outcome. And then we'll break it down for us, the gun owners. This is number 8, Doctor. All right. So a few things that stand out to me, Tim, and I want to know if anything stands out to you. You see how fast that crowd dispersed?
Yeah.
That was like 30 people that were going to physically assault that guy and steal the items of that store. And all of a sudden they went away. By what? Was it an act of God, or did the police show up, or did AOC show up? Like what happened, Tim?
He blew his rape whistle and dialed 911 and it scared him all away. Oh, no, he had a gun. My bad. That was a different story.
Right. Yeah. And what's the police time average nationally?
It was like 15 minutes or something.
Yeah, 11 to 15 minutes, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Don't worry, the police make an appearance here in a second. But understand, guys, like the reason that we're showing you this happened in a matter of like 10 seconds. It went from, I'm going to steal all your stuff in a flash mob, to physically assaulting multiple people on one person. That person wouldn't have had a chance. He couldn't have waited for the cops to show up. He couldn't have waited for help to come. They're in mob frenzy mode at this point. The only option you have is to defend yourself. And oh my God, it stopped it within 10 seconds.
Yep. But, it doesn't count, Braden, because he didn't fire a shot. So if there hadn't been video evidence, this would have never happened. And the leftists would claim there's no legitimate uses of firearms for self-defense. It just never happens. Gosh.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because they did tell us that. They
tell us that all the time.
Guns only amplify the problem. They never stop a problem, which is ironic because police bring guns. But that's just because they just weigh their belt down.
Yeah, well, it's different. Government guns are much more effective at keeping the peace than privately owned guns. Didn't you know that? It's quantum physics.
Intent.
Yeah,
the guns have better intent, right? They're the good guns.
Well, the police only hire the well-intentioned guns because we all know the inanimate objects are the problem here. It's not the criminals. We never want to talk about the criminals. They're innocent victims of guns that are causing all the violence.
It's true.
So,
that's valid, Tim. Tim, I like that perspective. We're gonna keep a mulling on this because we have another angle. All right. So this is number 9, Doctor. Let's hit it.
Oh, deal!
Isn't that amazing how fast that went from Nikes to I'm out.
Oh, done. Yeah. So mobs like that like to find victims that are mostly helpless that they perceive to be helpless. Correct. When he produced a firearm, he was no longer helpless, and then the cowards ran. Right. But that guy was in a situation where he has a mob of people in a city known for violence, gang violence. Yes. They are not like where I live. People don't generally go from zero to murder that quickly. But in some areas of the country, major cities where gangs are involved, they go from zero to murder very quickly. And so that guy, just the fact he's standing in a violent mob that's yelling at him, that showed up there to do illegal activities, then they start hitting him from every angle. It's amazing to me that he had the restraint because as self-defense is defined in most states, you're legally justified to use deadly force if you are in threat of serious bodily harm or death. But serious bodily harm or death is a pretty low threshold when you take a look at that, because when you have 15 people punching you in the face, surrounding you, not allowing you to get back into your store, it's safe to assume they're going to try to seriously hurt you or kill you. So he could have just started firing, but he noticed they were moving away when the gun came out. And to his credit, he didn't shoot unnecessarily. So once again, we have a citizen behaving responsibly with a firearm, using it for its intended purpose, which is
That's
good.
exactly what I was about to hit on. That, dude, you went exactly where I was going to go. I can't say anybody. Any's too broad. There's a good percentage of people that if you are surrounded in that type of fear environment with threat to your life, and you have the firearm and you draw it, there's a good amount of people who are going. Like, it's go time.
Right.
I mean, like, the restraint right there, or it could have been hesitation. I'm not there. I haven't talked to the guy.
Right.
But legitimately, that was, I really expected shots to be fired, but
right.
They
because
weren't.
once you produce a handgun and you're surrounded by people within arm's reach, they can disarm you very quickly. So he read the room very quickly. I guess he determined, like you said, either he hesitated or he determined the situation, the gun was having the desired effect and he didn't need to use it. But, you know, man, in that moment, I would not hold him accountable for any wrongdoing if he had fired the weapon. Because, I mean, look at what was happening. The guy was getting hit from every angle and was being
surrounded by a mob.
Surrounded and kept from, getting back to the safe harbor of his store. So,
which is an interesting point that you bring up, because again, keep in mind, this is California, guys. This is a duty to retreat. Like, this is a environment where if you live in the middle of the country or you live in a red state, this is a foreign environment for you. In a red state, this starts happening, the cops show up and go, how many did you get? I mean, like, you can defend yourself because they came at you. In a blue state, it's like, well, did you consider the angle of approach for the window that you could have gotten to in order to prevent any kind of harm, even though you're being pummeled in the face? And did you consider if you ran out this door and then that back window, you satisfied the duty? No, this would have been duty to retreat, like 100%. This would have satisfied every element of self-defense, even in California, and he didn't do it.
Because he did try to retreat. He stepped back from the attackers. He tried to turn and run in the door. They grabbed him, pulled him back, and he pulled his gun. So I would say that's probably why the police in California walked away.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Tim, because remember how I told you this is a good way to wrap? Excellent segue. You're so good at this. I told you that at the very beginning, this started by a big flash mob stealing kind of thing. Yeah. And then it turned into a mass violent assault that was all caught on camera, and the hoodlums were so comfortable with what they were doing, they filmed the entire thing themselves. The police did show up, Tim. Turns out this is number 4. ShotSpotter is a gunshot detection system that alerts first responders when it picks up gunfire. Officers located evidence of a shooting, but there were no reports of any injuries. No arrests were made in Saturday's melee.
So they're claiming a shot was fired, and they were called by the shot
by the ShotSpotter, not by anybody. They're saying that ShotSpotter sent them there.
There were no shots fired.
I didn't hear a shot fired.
No, there was not a shot fired. Well, that seems suspect.
That seems suspicious, as the kids would say, sus.
But like this goes to my point earlier that we are talking about Oakland here, where gang violence is a daily occurrence. So it could have been there was a gun fight behind the liquor store somewhere. Who knows?
You never know.
Maybe police were just into the area responding to 10 other gunshots being fired.
There's so many options.
Yeah, who knows, right?
But no arrests were made, even though the entire thing was caught on film. No, nobody. No assault. No nothing.
Yeah. Well, you can't hold the actual criminals accountable. I mean,
that would be rude.
It is California.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is,
anyway.
That is very fair. Well, that's what I've got for you. Another example of something the gun controller is told doesn't exist.
Yep. So next time you see them post somewhere on social media that there's no legitimate uses of firearms for self-defense, you can cite this most recent example. Thank you for watching Second Legacy, and we'll talk to you guys soon.